can't believe this. Not butter.
Hi, Zizaran here with another 3.26 League starter, and this is Wave of Conviction Elementalist. One of the few builds that I make that are more aimed at softcore. It is not extremely tanky, whereas most of my other starters are made with hardcore in mind, and this obviously has a lot of buffs with the golem changes and elementalist changes. So if you like this in the past, it is extra juicy now. Now, this is more of a extreme starter build where it's something you don't really want to put a ton of currency into. You start out with it, and you basically are already from the start aiming to move to another build. We're also going to have a lightning conduit build that you could swap to from this. And there will probably be quite a lot of different elementalist builds. But if you're kind of undecided on what to do, this is such an insanely nice starter because it's already online. You haven't even started playing yet and it's already great. It's just going to mow down everything. It'll just juice through maps. You can see in the background the clear on this is absolutely insane. And it's just buttery smooth to play. Obviously not an insane boss killer, but that's also not what you need in the start. You just need something to make you a ton of currency and then figure out what you want to swap to later. So if that's the type of build you're looking for, this is the perfect build for you. If you want like, this is the build you play for the rest of the season, I would not recommend this. This build is one of the select few that we offer in a written version over at Maxroll. And the written guide will have everything detailed from leveling, skill gems, gear, and much more. Way more in-depth than the video guides will offer. So if you want written content, that is another way to access the guides. And as always, if you consider these build guides useful, please consider subscribing. It helps us out a lot. We're not going to go into Path of Building. If you aren't familiar with this, we do have a video covering how PoB works. But as normal, we're doing a step-by-step. So it's very easy to follow. And obviously, which so close to EO, etc., you get lots of damage early. The skills as well are also very easy to follow. We're starting out by rolling Magma, just really great early on, and at level 28 you get Armageddon Brand, which one of the nicest League start experiences ever. And then once you're getting like Cruel Lab, you swap to Wave of Conviction, and yeah, you're just clicking Wave of Conviction, watching everything on the screen burn and ignite to death. You can use Wild Flame Blast for extra single target. You wouldn't use regular Flame Blast. And here in maps, Wild Flame Blast for extra single target, Wave of Conviction is your normal. And yeah, it is just a wonderful build. You're using Lightning, Flame, Stone, and Chaos Golem. These are permanently up and they give you lots more buffs now. More mana regen, more damage, more everything. They're just awesome. Great buffs for them. So that is really cool. And there probably, I assume, will be full golem builds, and this would be something that could easily transition to that. If we look at the gear, you can see that it is all rares. We always try to make sure that the builds that we're recommending for League Start don't really need anything crazy. So as you can see, the gear is nothing, and it will perform well with nothing, and that's such a big selling point on the build. Endgame, you can have a Lightning Coil and Obliteration. Obliteration just for clear. It doesn't do anything for damage, but you already have more than what you need for that. And a Lightning Coil is just to counteract some of the squish of the build. You can see that it doesn't have a ton. At the endgame, it has like 16k fist max hit, which is not that much. Do remember that the Shaper of Flame has been sort of buffed for this build, where it is going to convert the damage the enemies do to fire. So we'll have a higher fist max hit effectively. That does help for the build's tank. And we have had people run this on hardcore. It's just not something I recommend for hardcore. As you can see, we start out and we're taking the Liege of the Primordial first. Then we're taking Shaper of Flame. And then in Merc Lab, you get Mastermind of Discord. And then finally, Heart of Destruction. So very simple build. It sort of does what's on the label. It does a bunch of like clear damage specifically. It's very easy to set up. Definitely not like crazy damage. It would be very easy to get your first 2 stones. And it should do Maven and Uber Elder with no problem as well. But even there, you'll notice it's not like a fast fight. You're not going to go up there and one-hit them. And yeah, I would not be doing tier 17s or Ubers on this. Although I did have several viewers say they were able to do tier 17s. on this last season. It's just not... I want to set good expectations. I don't recommend this as a boss killer. It's all about play it early, get bosses, get your 2 stones, farm currency, do a different build. Golemancers would probably be sick as well to swap to. And we have some notes here talking about, for example, mercenaries are a bit of an unknown. A really nice thing for your mercenaries is going to be Comb's Binding. Now, this is going to be good on every build, but since we have Shaper of Flames, which is converting 40% of ignited enemies' damage to fire, and Comb's Binding is converting 25%, that means 65% of their damage is converted away from Fizz to fire, which is going to be a massive boon for our Fizz max hit. And obviously we are using Lightning Coil. Now, they don't stack additively, so you don't get full immunity to Fizz damage, but it is going to be very noticeable for the build's tank. So very, very nice for that. Worth keeping that in mind. And there are some other decent things like Legacy of Fury as well, but we aren't 100% sure how mercenaries will fully work. So we'll be experimenting with that at League Start, and I will have a video talking about mercenaries. There are some other things here talking about like using obliteration for clear. And yeah, honestly, really nice cookie cutter build, and it's very simple but really gets the job done. So if you really want a starter but you're not 100% sure what you want to commit to, this is so nice for that because there's no items that really require a large investment. So as you can see with the endgame gear, incredibly cheap stuff for your like max endgame stuff. And even that isn't really needed. So if you look at the mid game, it's not like a crazy big difference in damage, and this is pretty cheap gear. So regardless on whether you end at the mid game or at the end game before transferring to another build, whether that be like a 1 or 2 divine investment or a 10 divine investment, this is a great build to like really make a lot of currency to try out new things. So in the config here, you can see that our bandits is kill all. Obviously at League Start, you could always do Alira if you struggle to get res. Major god is Brine King, minor god is Ralakesh. And then one thing I really want to explain is Defiled Forces. So this refreshes the duration of Ignite on enemies you curse. So this is really nice because what we're going to do is we have this brand, which is repeatedly cursing them with Flammability, Ellie Weakness, and also uses Flame Surge. So you can see here that we do have nearly 4 million damage with everything up. And the way that works is that you pop your Wild Flame Blast and then the Arcanist brand, and that is going to extend that Wild Flame Blast to last for longer. So you get a really big ignite for that, and that just keeps it up. So that is really nice. And yeah, we love Defiled Forces. And obviously you're technically never casting a curse spell because you're casting Arcanist brand. Another thing, that is why we like having a Elder Helmet. So we want to get burning damage with a Horror Essence, basically making it a pseudo 6-link, and then you put your Flame Blast in there. Especially if you're struggling on resist capping with a Lightning Coil, a Cloak of Flame makes it very easy to resist cap. It's just slightly less fist damage taken from hits. If you unveil a ring and not craft it with Endurance Charge, it actually comes with 3 to 4% chance you get Endurance Charge on kill. So you can't just craft it, that just has them in Endurance Charge. You need to actually unveil it on a ring. You can get this with Veiled Chaos Orb or Veiled Exalted Orb for advanced rings. But generally, I usually just pick up a decent ring and then unveil that on it. It doesn't need to be a perfect ring, but you really do want that endurance charge there. Helps a lot with your tank. 18k plus. We'll probably have over 20k fisted on this. Honestly, with the new changes, with the Shaper of Flames, surprisingly decent tank for an Elementalist, I'd say. That is pretty much everything for this build. I hope you guys enjoy the build guide. Thank you so much for subscribing. It really helps us out a lot. Best of luck at League Start. I hope you have a great time. More importantly though, try to die less than I do.